guys, it's Teenage DC Fan, back with another video, and Supergirl is back again this week, and this episode was titled Confidence Woman. So, let's step through the history with Lena and Andrea, because that is basically what this whole episode was about. So we open with an introduction, an intruder who moves through the shadows to break into the DEO in search of Russell. Supergirl's super breath holds her off, and surprise, it's Andrea in a mask and catsuit. So, accompanied by a suitably dramatic burst of thunder and lightning, she appears at Lena's door to ask for help breaking into the DEO and getting past Supergirl. But she doesn't want to kill their prisoner. She wants to save him. She says, "He's important to me." Lena, cold as ice, of course, informs Andrea that they're no longer friends, but Andrea says, "We used to be." And yeah, they used to be. So with that, we step back 15 years to Andrea befriending Lena when she was the new girl at their boarding school. She teaches the wide-eyed Luther that a little confidence will get them served alcohol at a bar when they're clearly underage. And they bond over their love of the movie Titanic and Rose Dawson, who embodies their shared lust for adventure. So Lena's dream is to find the medallion of Akrata, which is said to let the owner bend shadow to her will. Her mother was obsessed with the legend before her death, and Lena mourns never having the opportunity to search for it with her. Now it's 5 years ago, and Lena and Andrea meet to talk about their family woes. For Lena, it's Lex firing her for refusing to help him kill Superman, and for Andrea, it's her family's company about to be crushed by a tech rival and her father's increasing thoughts of suicide. So since they're both at loose ends, Lena proposes a trip to Costa Rica, and she's in search of an ancient alien element that may have crash-landed in a spot that, from satellite imagery, looks a lot like the medallion of Akrata. Spooky coincidence, am I right? So she wants to keep Lex from finding the element himself, as it would allow him to vaporize kryptonite, thereby killing Superman and harming all of humanity. Off to the jungle, Lena and Andrea go in their safari chic khakis and button-down over tank tops. And when Andrea accidentally crashes through a hole in the earth and lands in a cave, she finds a carving with the medallion resting in the center. An old man appears and gives her an offer. She takes the medallion and, in exchange for her promise of future service, she and her family will prosper. Freaked out by how much this possible hallucination knows about her, she agrees, if only to keep her suicidal father safe, and she shoves the medallion into her pocket just as Lena climbs down into the cave. Lena is crushed to find the medallion missing, and Andrea works to try and convince Lena that they need to just give up in the search for it. So back at home, Andrea learns that their competitor's tech malfunction, causing Obsidian's stock to soar, and her father to regain his good spirits. Now we move to 4 years ago. Lena's boyfriend, Jack, tries to cheer her up following Lex's arrest by taking her to a function in London. There she bumps into Andrea, who's wearing the medallion as a necklace. Talk about awkward situations. So Lena's enraged that the woman she trusted more than anyone in the world would betray her, and she tells Andrea that they're through. Geez, poor Lena's always getting betrayed by women who mean more to her than anyone else in the world. 2 months after that, Lena coolly breaks up with Jack to move to National City, where she hopes to rebrand herself as the Luther alongside a Kryptonian. At first, she's super resistant to Kara's overly friendliness and attempts at friendship, even tossing the gesture back into Kara's face when she tells Lena that she kept embarrassing hacked L-Corp emails from ending up as a Catco story. So Lena ends up turning down the game night invitation and proving that she'd crush it as a Survivor contestant. But when the women bump into each other at a restaurant, Kara is kind and understanding of how hard it is to be the new girl in town, and it softens Lena, and she invites Kara to sit down with her and order every single appetizer on the menu. That sounds delicious, and I want to try that sometime, but it also sounds, just a wee bit expensive. So maybe not. But meanwhile, we see Andrea and Russell's meeting because they're in a bar, and apparently she blew off the meeting they were supposed to have, which is fine because he was going to turn down Obsidian's job offer anyway. Instead, he asks her to dinner, and they're still going strong 6 months later when the Leviathan lady shows up and calls in Andrea's marker. Andrea is horrified to learn that her orders are to kill someone, but the Leviathan lady, who really honestly needs a name at this point, I mean, just calling her Leviathan lady, it's a cool name, but it's not really a name. But anyway, she says that if she doesn't kill this person, Obsidian will fold and her father will, jump off the roof. So, yeah, definitely a hard choice to make. So with extreme reluctance, Andrea follows the woman's orders to tap the medallion 3 times, at which point the shadows outfit her into her sweet supervillain costume. In her new outfit as a Crota, she slips into the office of Governor Harper, breaking his neck and vanishing. Afterward, we see Russell in their apartment together, and he's asking why she has so many secrets. And this is the conversation with Andrea that William told Kara about, and then we learn what really happened to him. So, apparently he found the medallion with blood on it, which is weird because that looked like a clean neck break, and Leviathan arrives to kill him over Andrea's carelessness with her secret. She cries and bargains for his life, insisting Leviathan can use his biotech to their advantage, which is how he got turned into the Doc Ockish baddie we saw last week, also known as Rip Roar. Which, by the way, is a really stupid name. I don't get why they chose that name, but whatever. Now, please note that the surgery sounded terrible, and there was no way they used anesthesia on poor Russell. It sounded like they were using a chainsaw in there, and he was awake through the whole thing. And they were implanting stuff in him, and it sounded crazy. But then we move up to 12 weeks ago. We see Lex tell Lena about Kara's secret, and 2 weeks after that, Lena watches news stories about Lex, Supergirl, and Andrea in short order. And then she says that she never needed them, but that doesn't mean that they can't be useful. And her plans start to form. 8 weeks ago, Lena offers Andrea Catco as an Obsidian advertising platform. So then, of course, they celebrate with a drink because rich people gotta be drunk on this show all the time. That's why they go evil, because they're drunk all the time. I just cracked the code. I did it. But anyway, we're back to present time, where they have a philosophical debate about who needed the medallion more. Andrea to protect her suicidal father, or Lena to stop her homicidal maniac brother. As Lex went on to kill scores and scores of people, Lena clearly wins. But you can also see why Andrea made the decision she did. Andrea shows off her shadow abilities, informing Lena that it's a curse that cost her both the love of her life and her best friend. So in the end, they agree to work together to rescue Russell. And of course they say, you jump, I jump, right? Which of course is a reference to Titanic, which is a good movie. And they clearly love it. So our favorite Luther has a plan, of course. So she summons Supergirl with her watch and claims to have been attacked by the Shadow Villain, secretly jamming all incoming signals from the DEO. Andrea takes Lena's newest tech and intercepts everyone at the DEO with the thought, do no harm. From there, she moves unhindered to whisk Russell to safety. Alas, Jean feels the psychic attack and believes it to be Malefic, so he alerts Alex, who puts on her psychic inhibitors, although she can't get through to Supergirl. As an incepted brainy slows Alex down, Jean arrives, and a crowd is able to unleash the spider tattoo aliens on a few DEO agents to help her. And in desperation, Alex shouts for Supergirl, who manages to hear it across town for some reason. So now, I mean, like, if you want Supergirl's attention, just call her like a dog, and that works. So she arrives, but too late to stop Akata from freeing Russell, leaving Kara to break the bad news to William. Back at her lab, Lena incepts Russell to cut his own throat if Andrea doesn't give her the medallion. So Andrea ends up handing it over, and Lena's unmoved when she says that everything she did was for love. After all, Andrea chose love for her father over love for Lena. And then after all of that, Andrea's attempt to hustle Rip-Roar out of town fails when the man from the cave arrives and shoots Russell in the chest. Rest in peace, Russell. So you seem like a pretty cool dude, like a good dude who fell in love with the wrong person. But then Andrea tells the man that she doesn't have the medallion anymore, and he explains that the powers were inside of her all the time, and that the medallion actually just activated it. So finally, following a bittersweet VR session with her mother and herself as a child, Lena asks Hope/Eve to translate the medallion's etchings, and they spell out Leviathan, at which point she requests access to all of Eve Tessmacher's memories of Leviathan. So, on the one hand, Confidence Woman does a great deal to humanize Andrea and complex relationship with Lena. On the other hand, I cannot and will not forgive her crimes against journalism. So if you, like me, are still working on putting together what Leviathan's endgame is with all these assassinations, please note that the murdered governor was a leading climate change denier according to the news after his death. Now, I choose to count Andrea responding with "we used to be" to Lena's "we're not friends" as a cute little shout out to Julie Gonzalo's stint in season 3 of Veronica Mars, which features those lyrics in its still kicking theme song. So yeah, that's cool. And until next week, super friends, get out there and live your lives the way Rose Dawson would, of course. Because Titanic is a great movie, I guess. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video, so I bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.